Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. And today we're talking about the Moxie integration with Buyside. So this is your CRM. It's going to be your CMA presentations that you're able to make these world-class listing presentations in. So that's what we're talking about today. My name is Tom Shively. I'm the Director of Training here at Buyside, and I'm also joined by Todd Williams, or just Todd. It's like Madonna or Celine. But he's going to be here helping us out today with our Q&A. So a quick agenda for what we're looking at today is we're going to take a look at our buyer market analysis. So what are the pages that you're going to be seeing in this integration? And I want to show you where they come from, because a lot of that information that you're going to be able to see in that integration will show up, but it does start in Buyside. So I want to make sure you know where it comes from. Then we'll show you how to find your Buyside pages in Moxie. So that is the first step, is being able to navigate your Moxie Present CMA and know where these pages are. And then we'll talk really briefly about what is in your Buyside pages. So we'll talk about that. And then if you have any questions, please go ahead and put those into the chat box that you see over on the right-hand side. All right. So really just a quick intro is big data is not the future, big data is now. And we all know that because when we're using our Moxie Present, when we're using Buyside, what we're looking at is digital information. And all of that digital information that's out there, that's online, we're able to see where the market's going. We can show people in a digital format, let's say a video of a listing, a walkthrough that I created on my cell phone. Or in terms of Buyside, you can see what the market is doing. How many people are currently out there looking for a listing like your client has? So we're able to see all of this great information from these digital pages. So big data isn't the future. Now, here's the problem that we often find is that the data is fragmented. So we have a lot of different places that have these great information sources. So for example, like if you use MoxiWorks, Engage, your CRM, your mobile devices, if you use Spacio, your open house sign-ins, these are all in different places. And what's great is that Buyside has taken the guesswork out of using those tools, because we take all the information from those tools and we put it in a usable place. In fact, that's one of the things that we're talking about today is we have information in two different places, in Moxie and in Buyside, and we're showing you that you can use that in one specific place. So we can go to one place and use the Buyside buyer data with your MoxiWorks CMA and make a world-class listing presentation. All right, so before we jump in, there is a few things I want to mention, and that is we do have a Buyside Facebook Insiders group. So if you wanted to check out Buyside Insiders, we do have best practices, tips and tricks, and of course, testimonials. So if you have any testimonials, whether it's success that you found using Buyside, or you want to find out how other agents have found success using Buyside, what are the things that they use in order to win and earn and close more listings, you can check that out at Buyside Insiders. You can also email us at support@getbuyside.com, and we do have a world-class support team that'll be able to help you with any issues you have with any one of these things, the integration with MoxiWorks, or really anything else in Buyside. Okay, so that is our intro. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we are on our Buyside dashboard, and what we're going to do first is look at our BMA. So the way that we would get there is we can select BMA on top. Now, if we're using our marketing suite, let's go to our home valuation site here. Let's say we send out our home valuation site. People are looking at what their home is worth. We're going to go to My Leads. And this is where we can see those leads. So we are taking a look at, these are the people that have run their listing and they've asked for inquiries, or they've claimed their listing, or maybe they've done all three, which you can see down here. We can see that, but over on the right-hand side is a Create BMA button. So let's go ahead and select that, and it'll skip us right to the first step. Now, this is not a webinar about creating a BMA. So let's actually just jump right into the report here. So that's how you would start your buyer market analysis. Just a quick review. Now we're going to jump to a few pages down, because these are the things that you're going to see in the integration. So the first thing that we're going to see is the buyer heat map here. And this is a way that we can show somebody the activity in their area. And this helps us tell that story of pricing your listing right the first time is important. When we're using our Moxie Present CMA presentation, that is something that we have a few pages over there that it's going to help us tell that story as well. But that's something that it does come up a lot, doesn't it? So, you know, our clients are able to do research on their own, but that information may not be completely accurate. They don't have expertise in the real estate area. They'll use something like an AVM that pumps out a number that may be too high or may be too low. And we want to make sure that we're able to price their listing right the first time, so we can show them the activity in that area, so we can see our buyer heat map. Now, this one happens to land in the middle of a really active area. And of course, this does change. This is going to pull that information every time we run this report. So it is that live information, that live data. So we can see that here in this buyer heat map. So we're going to take a look at that. And that is one of the pages you'll be able to see. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you're going to see the online activity. So we've seen this before in our home valuation site and in our buyer market analysis pages. So we're able to show them how much is inside our real estate brokerage, or excuse me, how many searches in the area, how many searches in the price range, and how many searches are in the same school district within the home's price range and looking for a 4-bedroom. So I can show them the online activity of how many people are out there currently looking for a listing just like theirs. So we have this great info. We can even see by bedroom, and the price range would be right here if that information is available. So it would show up, it would populate, and you're able to show them, you know what, I did one yesterday that was in that price range, and I think it was about the $300,000 to $399,000 price range. There was about 70,000 people out there that are looking for a listing. And look, 49% of those are looking for a 1+ bedroom or a 4+ bedroom. So you can show them there's a ton of activity out there currently looking for those listings. And not only that, there is buyer activity. So we were just on our Buyside dashboard. We'll take a look here. We can see actual buyers. There is buyers on our dashboard. It's on our neighbor's dashboard, on our any other agents that work in our office. They are all going to have people that come in onto their dashboard, and they all have a buyer profile. Well, if this listing matches that buyer profile, this is where those people are going to show up. So I can see the 8 active people here that are on somebody's dashboard, right? Someone in my brokerage has a buyer that's looking for this listing. So I can close my deals that much faster because I'm able to match my listings with buyers, with real people, with real buyers that are represented by an agent. Now you will notice there is a buyer ID here instead of a name. And we do that on purpose because we don't want to give away anybody's name or information. We want to make sure that all of this is completely confidential. So the only person that's able to see those buyers is you, but you will be able to contact the person that represents these buyers. And that's something our CEO loves to say, is that when he was flipping real estate, people would ask him, how are you closing deals so much faster? How are you finding these buyers? He said, well, the answer is easy. I don't look for buyers. I look for the agent that has buyers. And that's what you're able to do with your buyer market analysis pages. Now, those are the 3 pages that we're going to see in MoxiWorks. So let's go ahead and take a look at what those pages look like inside of Present. So we're going to jump over to Present. This should look familiar. So we're going to just jump into one of these presentations. So we're going to find one. We're going to go to that pencil icon. We'll select that. And it's going to bring up our presentation here. And we can see there are the 5 steps across the top. We'll go ahead and select Pages. And this is where these pages are going to show up. So I can see I've got my featured buyers page, my buyer heat map, and my online activity. Now, these pages, and I should say these pages are going to look a little different on yours just because this is a demo account. So the information's not quite hooked up, but you're able to see we do have our featured buyers. So these are pulling in from your Buyside dashboard. You'll be able to see it says 36. There are 2 people currently looking to buy in your area. So they could be as many as low as 2. It could be a lot more people, but 50% are looking for the amount of bedrooms that we have. 100% are looking for the 3 bathrooms, and then of course our target price range. Okay, so we can see that featured buyer information. Let's actually go ahead and view this. Let's go ahead and view the web version so you can see, but those pages do show up automatically inside of your CMA presentation. So we're gonna go ahead and jump down a page and we can actually see that. I'm not sure why this text is white. That's really bizarre. but we can see that there are those people. So we can see how many people are actively looking and how many are looking for bedrooms, bathrooms in that specific target price range. Okay, so then we have our buyer heat map just underneath that. Like we saw in our BMA that came directly from Buyside, you're able to have this interactive digital page inside MoxiWorks. So you can see the buyer heat map here, and it is this is actually a different presentation than the one we were looking at. So this is Seattle. We can actually see this actually just near Bothell. I used to live there. So we can see the activity in that specific area and where this pin drops. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going down, and we can also see our buyer activity here, and this is really cool. So again, I'm not sure why this is in white. Yours will be whatever your brokerage colors are. So we can see there are 560,000 people currently looking in our brokerage. There are 2,000 people that are looking within a 5-mile radius of our home. There are 2,500 people within a 5-mile radius and looking in the home's price range, and just about 2,000 people that are looking within a 5-mile radius and within the home's price range looking for a 3-bedroom. So there is a ton of people. We can show them that online activity by price range and again by bedroom. So there we go. So we can see all of that great information right here within our Moxie Present pages. Whew. Okay, so that is the Buyside pages that we can see inside of MoxiWorks. Now, how do we get there? So how do we get these pages inside of our presentation? Well, that's simple. We're just going to go to Add Page up on the top of your list of pages, and we're going to go to Add from Library. There it is. So we're going to select Add from Library. And the second option down here, we can see we've got our report pages, we've got partner pages. So if this is linked in MoxiWorks, you're gonna see partner pages and you'll see Buyside. So that is the 3 pages we have. Now, if you haven't added these in already, you're gonna see remove, you'll see add, and all we have to do is select the add button. So we can select add and it will now be added into our presentation. So there we go. So we can select that button. There we go. So featured buyers, buyer heat map, and online buyer activity is now added into our presentation. So let's go ahead and go back to pages. And there is one last thing I'll show you is you'll notice that these all showed up on the top. When I added them in just now, they added to the top of my presentation. Well, why did that happen? Because I had the top of the presentation highlighted. So whenever I add pages into my presentation here, they are going to get added underneath the page that is highlighted. So there we go. So that's it. That's as simple as it is. And we get a lot of great information that's coming from our Buyside pages inside MoxiWorks. So so if you have any questions about the integration that we saw today, go ahead and put them in the chat box that we see over on the right-hand side. Okay, so I see, does this listing have to be yours or could it be an agent in your brokerage? So that's a question we get a lot is, can you create this on behalf of somebody else? And the answer is yes. If you wanted to create a presentation for somebody else, whether that be in Buyside or in MoxiWorks, if you went to home and you selected create, all you have to do is go through these steps, of course, but we can add in the address and all of that great information here. So whatever matches get pulled. So it would be a bit like putting a buyer into the Buyside dashboard. It would pull all of the matches that you have. So if you created a presentation in MoxiWorks for somebody else, you could, yes, you can do that. And then even if you wanted, you could assign that to somebody else. So there is an assign button on the bottom and you can assign to an agent. So you could assign that to somebody else. So if you're an admin or a team member and you create this for someone else, you could then assign it to them and it will show you that information. Now, in the same way, you can go to Buyside and click on BMA. You can put any address you want in here. So the way that the home valuation site works, if you don't own a home, you can still see home information in there. So you can put in your parents' address or your friend's address, your ex-girlfriend's address, or whoever. And it works the same with the buyer market analysis. So you can put in any address that you wanted in here and see that great information. All right, so how does Buyside know which area to pull from? Do you need to have Buyside up, run the address, and then add to present at the same time? No, it actually works, the integration works on the back end, so it works with the database. So that information that gets pulled into Buyside, that's going to automatically populate in present. So what you're actually seeing here is this is linked to a different account. So it will be, Buyside has a single sign-on with any of these places. So if you use MoxiWorks, you'll be able to go to Buyside directly, but it's able to do that because the integration works with what's called an application program interface, an API. So that's a little bit more technical than I have to get, but what that means is no, you don't. You can actually just put an address in to your presentation, and then it's going to pull all of that information from Buyside automatically. So you don't have to have Buyside up, but you will be able to use the Buyside pages. Just remember that it is going to be linked though. The two accounts, they are linked. So whatever you have on your Buyside dashboard, or if you were to make a buyer market analysis inside Buyside, that's the information that's going to show up inside Moxie. You don't have to connect them in any way. It'll happen automatically. You could just have to make your CMA presentation and add in your partner pages and you'll see it, but it does work that way. So it's going to work off of that same pool of information. Very good question though. Okay, that is, I believe, all of the questions I see. So if you do have any other questions, again, you can always email us at support@getbuyside.com. And if you wanted to ask us about the integration, how the pages work, where they come from, we'd be happy to answer all of that. Thank you all for being here. I know this was a short one, but we do have these every single Thursday. We've got one more, how to take your client from a lead to closing. So that is going to be next week's presentation. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you next time.